Hello, TCI family, Jonathan's Refuge, all of our faithful followers and friends from around the world. We love you very much. It is your Archbishop coming to you. And tonight or today, I am at, that light. Oh, wait, there we go. Hold on. I know that there, Miss Heather, when you see this, see, I'm an angel. I have a halo. My presbytery of bishops, my college of bishops, and my presbytery of the church. You guys don't send me any messages on that. All right. So we're coming to you from the Mountain Office. The Mountain Office is a location in Granite Falls, Washington State, at the base of the Cascade Mountain Range. A very dear friend of mine who is my brother from another mother. And I was going through a divorce actually just over a year ago. And I ended up purchasing this beautiful fifth wheel uh, from him that he just got for his mother who passed. And Peggy is because I know that we transitioned to the next world, so I know she's around. But Peggy is and was the sweetest mom. She loved her son very much, and so um, it worked out. So I was able to move into the fifth wheel here, and then we turned it into the what we call mountain office because it's a beautiful place up in the mountains. It's got a great location, and it's a beautiful setup with couches on both sides and TVs and a dining room, and a small kitchen, and a master bedroom and a bathroom and shower. So it works for a really nice office. And so I've spent a lot of time here. We did a lot of messages from here previously. And what's interesting about, I'm going to turn this off, see if it, there we go, a little better. What's interesting about the message today is I was looking in the mirror in the restroom when I went to wash my hands, and it has a handwritten sign by me that I wrote and stuck it on that mirror last year early, just over a year ago. And it was right as the divorce happened, the separation, I should say. And I can't even, I'm trying to quote it, but I can't. But you are the artist. You are the captain of your ship. You are the artist of your destiny. You and you alone determine it and create it. So today I am going to create my future. And it's something along those lines. And I'm going to share it a little later in another message. But that it just grabbed me and I started to have tears because when you go through something traumatic, you have to remember you're the one that creates your destiny. You are the captain of your ship. Storms will come and blow you off. They'll even shipwreck you. A hurricane could even, you got to avoid those because they can sink you. So life has the same scenario as an ocean and a boat. It's one of the things I love about boating. I was out last night with three of the men from the refuge and the director of the refuge. The three men from the refuge were managers. I had to move our 51 foot uh, yacht from one marina to another, and I had to do it. I couldn't put it off another day because of you can only moor at a place for so long, which means you can stay at a marina. And so this one we were only a temporary stay. So that was the final night. So we were moving it in bad windy weather. We had it just was a really I won't go into all the details. It was a scary situation. And everyone's like, "We're gonna make it. Is this a smart move?" And I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Hey, worst thing's gonna happen is we're gonna die, fellas. And if I'm gonna go out, I'd rather take you guys with me. You're the best guys I'd better go out with." And they're all looking at me like, now it's funny as I look at the people that are in my management teams in our organizations, our nonprofits, our church, all these different places. I apologize. I forgot to turn off my own phone, broke my own rule. I I look at my team and I find myself. Now, everyone has their own specialty. I'm not great with details. So I staff that weakness of mine. I spend about 10%, 20% of my time working on that weakness to improve it. But it goes up every year. It keeps getting a little better and a little better, but it's not what I excel in. So I won't focus on it. I'll staff it. So I've staffed people around me that are great with details. but they're like-minded people, if that makes sense. My sense of humor and theirs are alike. Their sense of humor is when they come on, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just like you. And they're like, wow, why do people attract that? Think of this for a second. There's a great saying, show me your five closest friends that you spend the time with, the five people you spend all the time with. Who are those five? And I'll show you your future. Show me your five closest friends, and I'll have you tell me what everyone's income is annually. Whatever that is, those five, put you in there, divide, or don't put you in, divide the five, the number by five, and that's what you're going to make for your income. That's your future. Because people that are the same, some are lazy, some don't want to get better, some are happy just having the job they have at the school or at some federal building or a city officer, a city person at the city working in the township or what have you in a county office, working for a government kind of, it's all good until it's not good. Detroit City, they never said would fall apart. Motor City in America, Detroit, Michigan. A lot of my family came from Detroit. Detroit, a few years back, you could have bought yourself any house you wanted downtown there for $10,000. Detroit screwed the pooch so bad. And go look at the head guy who started. He had a mission. I won't go into all the details, but he wanted to have a leadership team that was just like him. And they did. And it was all one group, one focus, what that man wanted. And within only 3 years, they blew the city, bankrupt everything. People literally had to walk away from all their homes, and you could go buy a house, totally empty place for $10,000. Friend of mine went up and bought an entire neighborhood. It was a cul-de-sac, and it had four houses on each side, and then the cul-de-sac had three houses. Now think about that: 11 houses. He paid $110,000. Huh. So people like him, he had like-minded people. They went in there with money and said, "Well, we'll buy these for nothing," because the mayor and his team were all idiots. And so we'll be like-minded people. They pay attention to where the idiots make mistakes, and then they capitalize it. And then they bring in their contractors and fix things up, and they pay more money to the government and in the economy of those cities. Those people associate with other people like them. Have you ever noticed people that are educators tend to travel and do things with other educators? Ministers travel with ministers, right? It's interesting. Certain sports I'm not into. Certain other sports I'm totally a fanatic of. So like attracts like. Now, what's the bad side of this message? In the Bible, there's a scripture. It talks about King David and Jonathan, who was the prince. At the time, King David was not the king. He was just a peasant boy who killed Big Goliath, and now is going to the king's house to play the harp every day to help soothe his, you know, um, mental health issues. The Bible talks about the demons in him. And so this man wanted to keep David, and David's best friend was Jonathan. And so Jonathan was the son of King Saul, and the next heir as the king of Israel. And he fell in love. He said that his soul was knitted to David's. Their souls were knit together. And that from that day forward, like he actually took his robe off, which is like a cloak, a garment, like a very expensive thing that only the king and then the princes would wear those. And he gave him his armor, he gave him his shield, he gave him even his sword to show that he was knitted with him at the soul. I have friends like that on boards that I serve with, friends that aren't on my boards. And it's interesting when I think about it because I asked a question to one of my best friends, Heather, and I said, Heather, why is it we attract? You ever notice? And I looked at her, I said, us, me. Why you? I want to know what you think about this. Why do I attract? You ever notice I attract just idiots, certain situations? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like the whole situation with this one contractor we were working with. And she's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, I think I was an idiot too. In other words, an idiot attracts idiots. A smart person attracts smart people. People that are violent attract violent people. I attracted violent people my whole life, and I was like, "What is wrong?" I go into a restaurant where they got like a a bar in the middle, Applebee's. They got the middle in the bar, and then you got the family chairs and booths all around the outside. I go to one of those restaurants. I didn't do a thing, didn't have a drink with the family, minding my business. And I always seem to have one guy that just says, "Hey, I think I want to take that big guy and see what we can do." And I used to get so angry. And then I realized I'm attracting it. Now, I'm not out there like, "Hey, look at me, I'm ready to kick you." No, no. I'm just me. I walk in a room, I look at a person, they look at me, they look a little funny. I don't give them a look like, F you. No. But apparently I've discovered over the years that I do have a couple fairly scary faces. I didn't know I did it. Naturally, I didn't even know that I made a face. And some people turned them away and just whoop, just leave this guy. Other people, it made them the other violent people. It attracted. Oh yeah, oh you want to look at me? Okay, let's go. And me and Heather had this conversation. We were discussing because how about chaos? Y'all ever notice some people have chaos always? They just go from one chaotic spot to another chaotic spot. It's always chaos. You get someone and they wake up in the morning. They're like, "Oh my god, I can't find anything. I can't find what I did." Okay, okay, okay. Let's just find some clothes. And then you get in the car. Oh my gosh, everything in the car is not where it's supposed to be. The mirrors aren't done the way. The cars are oh, okay. And it goes like that all day long. I used to have an ex-wife like that. And you notice their friends had the same problem. That's when I noticed my friends were changing over the years. I started to decades ago, I started to go, Do I really want to fight him? Nah, let's stop that." And then I stopped having friends around me that were fighters. I probably only got maybe four guys. And not talking about my men from the men's homes. My friends from prison are friends from prison. And my old friends from the past are, okay, we don't count them. My friends now, the five closest, those ones, right? I think I only have one in there that's a real actual fighter. The other one would just shoot you. And the other one, um, he's such a sweet spirit. He would just taser you until he could then handcuff you and then wait for the police. Okay, I I don't have people anymore, and those people don't do things like that. Why? Like attracts like. I work 7 days a week, folks. For those that know my health, the doctors were all dying. I'm dying. You're dying. So when I say I'm dying, it's no different than you. You're dying. My heart's just failing faster than a lot, and they've been throwing things at it to try to solve it for years. And we've lived past the dates, right? So I don't worry about my end. I embrace the now. I embrace the now. And now I'm attracting people like that. I don't have anybody. I have maybe, I think, okay, I won't say how many. I have a person or two or three in my company that they don't live like that. They don't live like me, but they get found out real quick and they go find somewhere else to work because I live this life and I do it for no money. I don't get a paycheck from my firms. Okay. So why do I do that? And I can explain it. You've heard me. You know why. I have a major why to change the world. And so I want to look around me then and investigate when I fail on something, am I attracting that around me? When we have a problem in our firm and we go from one crisis to another, is there and it's okay to have crisis. I'm great in a crisis. My executive team, I would say that 50% of them are experts in crisis situations. The other 50 are not. They're more into the management aspect of just managing the situation. And so it's a handy to have that ability so you can pull on those ones that are experts in chaos because they can handle the explosions going on over here, the fighting going on here, giving directions for this part of the war, and taking care of all the wounded in the back and giving strategies for how we get our men and women out. And I'm using the military term, but it's the same thing in business. You got a house, you got a lawsuit, you got a fight in this situation. You got a bishop doing some things over there that were not sanctioned, and they're doing things that are causing issues. And now you got people in other countries, and they're calling. You got all this chaos. They're always it's there when you got thousands of people around the world under an organization. There's going to be chaos. There's government chaos that comes down to us, city chaos, county chaos, riots, protests, politicians, people that just want to screw with everyone else. And then on top of that, all the chaos that you create. And I started to notice I had a few people too many around me starting to do a certain thing. And then I evaluated my liking attracts like and realized I attracted it. Oh man. And none of my mentors brought it up because I didn't even know I was really doing it. Meaning it's so it's in the back. It's not up in the front. This thing is buried in your daily habits. That's the hard ones to catch, folks. So when you see that all you ever get is screwed over, that's because you're screwing people over all the time. You know, the guy that sees someone drop their wallet and they pick it up and put it in their pocket and take it and clean it out and throw the rest in the trash can. That's you, buddy. That's you, sweetheart. And guess what's going to happen to you? It's going to happen to you. And you're going to cry. I didn't know my baby pictures. Yeah, good for you. Sucks to be you. We reap what we sow. I have reaped what I've sowed, and I'm still reaping it. So that's why I don't complain. I don't complain about I should be dying. I do such good things now. Nah, you got to reap what you sow. You planted it, own it. Okay. And so start attracting people like that. You got to be like that. If you want people to be kind to you, you have to be kind first. And you've already sowed enough bad, it's not going to happen like one for one. That's not how the universe and God works. It took me years of sowing. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, now because of my years of sowing good seed, now when something bad happens, all these people from around come rallying to me like a mad like a I mean it's like crazy. I'm like, "Whoa, guys, I mean, one thing happened. Someone, no, these people are fanatics to be at my side to defend and help me because I've been doing nothing but sowing that good." Now, I'm still hitting hit from time to time with some bad stuff because that's life. I love pressure. Pressure's exciting. Pressure gets rid of all the whamsy pamsies. You know, the ones that say, "Oh, I have a feelings and I think they were hurt today, so I need a timeout card." Anybody at my firm that needs a timeout, anybody at our church that needs a timeout from their emotions because they can't get the job done, I'll give you timeout. Absolutely. When the job is done that we're on task with to accomplish whatever it is we're dealing with, because people's lives are on the line. And you're mamsy pamsy when you're at a war and there's a gun shooting at you. You can't pull out a card and go, "I'm a little freaked out right now. I need 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes." They'll put a bullet in your head from the other side. And that's how I train our pastors, our bishops, our church members, our organizations, our nonprofits, our businesses, our for profits. We still address the issue of what they need for that moment, but you got to take those emotions, put them in a pocket for that moment, finish your shift, finish your job, take care of your schooling, and then let's get home. Let's get back to a place where we can sit down and figure out what triggered that moment and those feelings, and let's work on that. So, the fact that that's going to happen tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, you've got to learn how to address the issue. So start working towards it, and then you're going to attract people that have mastered it. Now that's what happens. So you have to actually ask yourself, who are the people I need to take calls from? I get called at least over 200 times a day. My personal cell phone rings about 200 times a day. I get about 125 texts a day. I somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 1,000 emails, and out of the 1,000 emails, less than 30% are junk, which means that's about 700 emails that are actual emails. And I don't even, if someone says, "Hey, JB, I get your personal email and I send you," go right ahead. I don't get it first. I have a staff member who actually goes through that. All of my, I don't have time. I run a lot of companies and jobs and employment for people and their jobs, and the county and the state and the city and the Department of Corrections and our bishops globally, and then our ministers inside the prisons, outside the prisons. I don't have time. So I have staff. They're like-minded. That's when I realized. So some of the problem of the chaos, I am going to start changing my focus. And my staff, they're amazing. They're going to catch it and go, so are we. So are we, boss. We're with you. We're with you, Bishop. We're with you. Okay. The church, the men in the home, they're saying, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to start attracting like. Now, this is a price you're going to have to pay. Hear me on this. Here's the price you're going to pay. I'm wrapping it up. You got to get rid of friends in your life that aren't real friends. And that includes blood. But that's my sister, man. That's my brother. That's my mom. That's my cousin. Yeah. And they're dragging you down. I have a young man in our organization. He's watching this right now. Yeah, I say young. He's either just below 30, just over 30. And this young man's demons, if you will, are his actual parents. Um, he won't work. He makes excuses. Lives off of Social Security insurance, which is called SSI, because I had, I have issues, and every once in a while I get the question, which is I don't understand what the problem is, and I say right to him, like attracts like. Your mom, your dad, boom, they are your closest. Your sister, all of them live off Social Security. All of them can work. They don't. The brother, all of them, they all do the same thing. They all got the food stamps. I know they can work. I have these people all the time come around, and I literally have no problem walking up saying, "Hey, listen, could you help me with this?" They're like, "No, I'm like, oh, I have 3 fractures in my leg. I've ripped a quarter of the ligament that goes from here to here. I currently have a heart problem that if I even lift up more than 20 pounds can cause me to pop the valve in my heart. I can go on if you want. I've had 2 massive strokes, had to learn how to walk and talk. I've got knee problems because they both need surgeries about 12 years ago, and we're trying to put them off as far as we can. I mean, I can keep going. It doesn't stop. And then I just say, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm a real man. I'm going to throw this thing up and I'm going to handle it. And then all of a sudden they get like, oh, no, no, let me help you. And then they start to realize they're pretty foolish being these little whiners and crybabies. Like attracts like. I've took and watched the last couple years this person's family, and their friends are just like their son, just like them, all on the welfare. And I even watch a young man that's organization here of ours whose father did do all that and now comes to our group. Now he has not just like today, I'm talking, he has been coming to every volunteered work day that we do. We build our organization. We got a multi-million dollar. It's like if this thing's done, we're talking it's like $7.5 million facility that we're building for the organization. This thing is massive and it's exciting. And so a lot of our faithful men at the refuge, they have to do volunteering. They come up, they work on these projects with us. And this young man's father, he's not abusing anymore. Meaning he's trying to get away from taking. He even said, I think I should give up my food stamps because I got 2 food kitchens that give me food enough to take care of me. Yeah, I can't get the fancy stuff I like, but you know what? There's some people that might need that food stamp more than I do. And I'm listening, going, wow. You see, folks, like attracts like. His son changed, then the father who hung out with the son became like the son and said, I want to be like you because that young man changed. And then he got into one of my corporations and then he started making money. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, yeah, who are you? What you got? And I cautioned him, you might have to get rid of your old man. And he did for a portion of time. Can you do that? Can you walk away from the person who's not healthy for you, even though it's someone you've lived with your whole life? Oh no, I'm not like that. You know, I got their back. That's what I hear, right? That's family, it's blood. Let me tell you, blood or not, if I'm hanging on a cliff, I will hold you and die with you as long as you are not sitting there on that same said cliff and trying to smoke some weed and drink a beer and not helping participate while I'm dangling too. I will gladly cut that rope and drop your ass off that cliff. Bye bye. But as long as that person is trying, to better themselves on that cliff to get up and out of that situation as I'm struggling to help too, I'll go down and die with that person. But I'm not going to sit there and let them mooch off of me. And that's what happens. You find family that just sits there and just, and they want to suck off society. I'm not talking personally, I'm saying society. I have the legal right to get some certain benefits that I've turned down, and there's a reason. I don't need them. Everyone says, "Yeah, that guy's got all kinds of things. He's really wealthy." No, I gave it all away. It all went to a nonprofit. Oh, I can use their toys when we go out with the group. So if I want to take men out on a beautiful yacht, I can do that. And you can watch the videos on my Facebook. It's beautiful. We're out on the yacht. I'm taking men in places they've never been. It's exciting, but it's not mine. I don't need it. I don't need a yacht. I don't need anything. I don't even own a home, folks. I live at a residence that the organization provides for me to live in, and it's always filled with people. So I still have to have a sacrifice to even enjoy some of the benefits. I live off of $1,800 a month. Now I'm trying to attract people like that, people that are willing to just take what they need to survive, enjoy the perks of taking people out and stuff on the organization, meaning go take 10 men camping, you know, be one of the leaders that does that. Those leaders don't pay for the gas, the vans, the boat, the campsites, the food. One of our groups pays for that. All the money that I give to them pays for that. And they get that free perk. And it's beautiful because they actually get a bigger and more blessed life once they learn to just not care. And I'm now attracting those people. See, who do you want to attract is the first question you have to ask. And the people you want to attract are the people you want to be like. If you don't want to be a person that wakes up every day and takes charge of your life and you design your life and your future, and you don't want to take marching orders, doesn't mean you're not going to take marching orders, by the way. It took me years. And even now, when I can do whatever I want, that's really not true. I can't do anything I want. I got the feds laws to follow, the state laws to follow, the county laws to follow, the city laws. Try to go and just bulldoze your neighbor's house down, see what happens. You can't do what you want. And I'm not telling you that's what I want to do. I'm just saying you still will always be told here and how and what to do, unless you can get out on the sea and live in international waters. And even then, guess who's telling you what to do? The weather and the ocean. So at the end of the day, you're always going to be told in certain ways what to do. But what I mean by that is I have the freedom to go where I want. If I want to disappear for the next 6 months or a year, I can go do that. I don't need to be here. I've got some of the most competent leaders in the world in our organization. That's why I'm still here working so much. I could do that. But what do I want to do? I want to attract more people that want to change the world. I want to create a revolution that I've been working on for the last 6 years. And this revolution is taking off, and people are coming because I'm attracting that. What are you attracting? How many times are you going to date the same person who does the same thing to you over and over again? I had to make a change, and I had to say, ending it with someone that I loved very much. But because I had to make this choice, it hurt, but I knew that I would never be able to grow and go any further. I've had blood siblings that I don't speak to, and someone says that's so sad. It was in some respect, but it's not sad anymore. I wished we could have maintained our friendship, and in doing so, you have that family tie. I do miss family get-togethers where you be able to say something and someone's like, "Oh yeah, remember when you were like 5 and that one thing happened?" You're like, "Oh wow, I forgot." Yeah, I missed that. But I got that too with the people God put in my life that are now my family. There's men watching this that are sons of mine, spiritual sons. I'm only a 50-year-old man, and I've got spiritual sons. I got a guy, he's older than me. I always tell him, these are my spiritual sons. And I looked at one day and I was like, "Hey, you can be older than me, still be a spiritual son, but I'll call you my spiritual brother." So these are things that God brought into my life because I kept sowing good things over and over. So you need to really talk to yourself right now and say, what is it I attract? Why is it every time I get out of prison, it's the same thing? I can tell 5 guys right now watching this what your problem is. Every time you've gotten out of prison, the first thing you do is, I need to get a piece of tail. You're an idiot. That's what you are. I tell guys, you got 3 years on parole when you get out. Don't date for 3 years. Don't date for 3 years. And if you can't control yourself for 3 years, then you are definitely just a cattle. Moo. Yes, cattle. Because your urges in your body and your mind are what control you. How weak are you? That's that's pitiful, is what that is. You don't think every man and woman wake up going, man, I'd like to make love to someone. Man, I'd like to be holding someone. Man, I'd love for someone to be holding me. Get your crap together. You just got out of prison and it doesn't take a week or a few months. Take those 3 years and transform your life. Get your finances in gear. Get your career in gear. Get a place set up for you. Be prepared and ready for the woman or man that you are going to attract and that God and the universe is going to bring into your life. Don't focus on it because that's what weak people do. I don't focus on anything and everything comes to me. Jobs, businesses, money just flies. Good people and it flies. And then every once in a while, I see someone that does something that just hurts me. But see, I look back and saw how I actually met them and the time I met them, and like attracts like. So I love you guys. I know I went a little long, but I think it's important we start asking ourselves, who are we? And you can find out by looking at your 5 closest friends. Write them down on a piece of paper. Figure out what their incomes are, and then let's have a talk about it. Next week, I'm going to answer some questions that are coming in today from the refuge. The men at our organization are going to be listening, and the director is going to have them all ask a question, and they're going to text them in, and I'm going to be answering them next week about this topic. So, as you guys took notes, I look forward to hearing those questions, and then I'm going to answer them next week live. So we might even do it from the refuge, which is exciting. All right. We love you guys. God bless. We'll see you next week.